Hello everyone, Bricks Ahoy here with a review of the Mandalorian Star Wars set, The Child, also known as Baby Yoda. This is set number 75318 and contains 1,073 pieces. It's for ages 10 and up, and I think this is just a fantastic set. We'll take a closer look at the head in a moment, but I'm just going to do a quick turnaround here. You can see that they used a lot of studs to show off all the fabric here. Let's take a closer look at his head. Look at how cute that is. This is the child. He looks just like the child. There are a few weird sort of piece choices. There's some dark gray you can see in here. A little bit of tan from behind, which is the color from the front here. And his ears. It kind of peeks through. I wish they could have done something a little different there. And there are some cavities under here that are hollow, which just makes room for the ears to move. Nothing too big there. I don't really mind any of that. But you can bring these ears down. Look at how cute that is. One ear down, one ear up. Sand green head. I think they did a wonderful job with the eyes this time around. The previous buildable Yoda was really creepy. I think there were major cavities around the eyes, which allowed you to pose the eyelids and stuff, but it just ended up looking really creepy, and I think they've completely mitigated all those issues with the Baby Yoda. He looks cute. He looks just like the puppet from the show. The head is on a ball joint, so you can move the head around. You can actually spin this guy full 360 degrees if you want to. A little creepy, but that's okay. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. The mouth is on a hinge. You can see there's a red brick here, sort of for like the inside of the mouth, the tongue, and the teeth are kind of replicated by this hinge here, which is in a light gray color. I think this is fantastic. You get so much posability, so much character, and it's just like they've done such a fantastic job. And it's really, ball joint and a couple of hinges, but the character really comes to life. Let's take a look at the body now. Here you can see that they've used studs to kind of show off the texture of the fabric here. And they've used these towel pieces for the collar and the front here to sort of make a separation between the two, even though the two probably should both be the same kind of fuzzy material. He's got two hands. I just accidentally broke this knob off. We'll take a closer look at that in a second. Both of these are on ball joints, so you can move them around and the fingers are articulated. Let's take a closer look at the left hand. Let me just put this back on here. All right. So this is the left hand ball joint, like I already said. All three fingers are on hinges, so you can fold them up and down. The thumb doesn't have too much range of motion there. The fingers have a little bit more, and the fingers you can sort of push together or splay them further apart, just because of the pieces that are used. This is a silver piece. It's actually two pieces. It's made up of what I believe is a helmet for Sandy, a character from SpongeBob. So it's actually a minifigure helmet of sorts. But they've used these pieces again here for the Mandalorian's, the Razor Crest shifter knob. I read that from the plaque here that I'll show you in a minute. The character takes it off the ship, and the Mandalorian takes it back, puts it back on the ship, but eventually gets it to the child as a toy. So it's listed as the child's favorite toy, and I feel like this does a great job of replicating that. One very, very slight disappointment is that these ball joints have been color locked to gray, so this is dark gray, light gray, and it's not sand green or tan or anything, and I feel like only from this angle can you really see it, so it's not a big deal here. And I think it's a quality control thing. If they started making these ball joints in all sorts of colors, they wouldn't have the right amount of friction and they'd be a little fragile. So it makes sense that they're gray. It's a slight disappointment, but it's really not a big deal. Let's take a look at the other hand real quick. Again, ball joint, same thing. It's gray on gray, which isn't the greatest, but thumb can move just a little bit. Fingers can move as well. And they can also be pushed together. You can splay them apart. But there is one thing I should point out. These arms are not rotatable, so they're built into place and they're just clipped in. Technic pieces, you can't put them at 90-degree angles. It's a little bit of a disappointment. I think they probably could have used, slightly different colored pieces. I feel like they could have modified the design just a little bit to allow you to at least turn them to 90-degree angles. Even if you didn't have full range of movement, if you could at least rotate them 90 degrees, that would have been great. And I don't think it would have been too hard to do, so I'm not quite sure why they didn't go for that, but again, not a big deal overall. Just to get an idea of how he was built, the first thing they have you build is a Technic frame, which then you build all these sub-assemblies from bottom up. Just really straightforward building techniques. There are a few studs on the side type things going on, but for the most part it's pretty straightforward, and then you just attach all these builds on, the front, the back, the two sides, and it all comes together to create this really cohesive piece. The set also comes with a plaque, like a number of UCS sets and other Star Wars sets come with. It has a little bit of information about the child. You can see homeworld unknown, species unknown, age 50. Its height 0.337 meters. Primary associate is the Mandalorian, and the favorite toy is the Razor Crest shifter knob. Not a lot of useful information on here, but you do get a actual minifigure scale Baby Yoda with the set, and this thing is... It's tinier than it looks on camera, I'll tell you that much. So if you get this thing in real life, you might be surprised at how small it is. I did notice there is a bit of a color variance here between the sand green that it should be and the slightly more olive green head. It's a little noticeable once you see it, but it's really not that big of a deal. Again, in certain lighting scenarios where there's no light spots in front of his eyes, he can look a little dead. So if you're going to put him in a room that's lit from above, just be aware of that. I'm sure they considered it, but they didn't print anything on these eyes. So if you don't have illumination from in front and it's just top-down illumination, he's going to look a little bit creepy, but it's not too bad. And here's the box for the set. This photograph is the first thing I saw of Baby Yoda, and I wasn't too sure what to make of him. Something looked a little off, and I think I figured it out. I feel like they shone a really bright key light into his eyes to make his eyes look really alive. And it's more of a spotlight, and it really highlights the eyebrows here, and it makes his whole face look a little puffier than it does in real life. In most lighting situations, you're not going to have these crazy gradients, and the cheeks and the eyebrows aren't going to be as pronounced. And I feel like the photograph on the box actually makes it look a little weirder than it does in real life, which is a bit of a disappointment. So just know he's not going to look quite as weird as he does on the box. Another thing that's a little strange is the background used here. It seems like they just pulled a still frame from the show and used that as the background, and there's a lot of color noise, which is interesting. I'm not sure why they didn't blur that out a little more, but it's really, really noticeable, and it's really odd that they left it on the box like that. The back of the box shows off a number of the features, so you can see the way the head moves and the ears and the hands. Also, you got the width and the height there. He's about 21 centimeters or 8.5 inches wide and around 19 centimeters or 7.5 inches tall. And again, this photo I feel like has that same spotlight effect where the eyebrows look a little stranger than they should. So there you go, review of The Child, Baby Yoda, set number 75318. It costs, rounding up to about $80 USD and $100 Canadian. I think this thing is a steal. He looks great on display for the most part. Overall, I think this is a fantastic set. Absolutely pick it up if you are a fan of The Child, The Mandalorian, Star Wars, any of that stuff. Thank you for watching this review. It's my first one in my new studio. Usually I like to record it in advance and do multiple voiceovers until I'm happy with it and rework every single word, but this is kind of more of a uncharted territory for me, so it's a little intimidating, but hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you like what you've seen, please feel free to like, subscribe. You can hit the bell if you want to be notified when new videos go up. Thank you for watching and have a great day.